Okay, seeing that okay?
Yeah.
All right. So again, my name is Jamie Judd, and I'm a motion graphics artist and director. I've been working with KVIE at KVIE for 24 years. And prior to that, I've worked for the legislature, which is kind of a switch. I was hired by the California State Assembly to run their California Assembly pilot project for Assembly television. And so we got to set up everything in the Capitol and run all of the shows on what was happening. So I learned a lot about government. Not really that exciting, but it landed me at KVIE, and I'm always grateful for that. So I want to start with a good analogy, because Nate and Ken have both talked about editing and pacing, and you saw a picture of a timeline where things are kind of laid out, video and audio, and how it's cut and mixed. So kind of what I do as art director is a little bit kind of in the picture of this cake would be something that was edited. So you have the audio and the video put together, and it's basically edited, and it has a good pacing. And now you want to put it's kind of the finishing touches. So the way I look at it is, what I do is kind of help put on the frosting and the nice fruit and trimmings, which can include a good design, a show open and titles. We're going to talk about that in a second. Lower thirds are those little graphics on the bottom of the screen that tell you who's talking and informational things. Of course, the credits, which tell you who did the editing and who did the artwork. And bumpers, I don't know if you've heard that term before, but that's a little piece that goes between two segments in a show. It can be animated, it can be visual, it could be just sound, but those are pacing elements, other elements that can be used by the editors. And anything that moves is really kind of what I do mostly, video, animation. They call it motion graphics now, but I always like to stick with animation because I'm a big Disney fan from a long time ago. So when everything is looking its best and we add the different show graphics, it's time to, again, revisit things and put the little elements in place. And so what I'd like to talk about really quick is some of my tools that I use, because I know everybody loves fun tools. It's like opening up a new box of crayons or pens or pencils and on a canvas. So some of the tools I use and use a lot, and this is just an example of one spot I did for our on-air fundraising, and that it's built in Adobe After Effects. So I use a lot of Adobe Creative Cloud, among other tools. And After Effects is great because it allows you to edit and really fine-tune your video, your motion, and your sound all together in the same package. And then export that as a graphic that will be added to the timelines and adjusted by the editors. So I'm just a little part that kind of helps to beef up the way the show tells that story. And I want to say that I really appreciate that. And we didn't really talk about this, Ken and Nate and I, but we came up with the same things about editing, I think, as we thought about how to best describe it. And that would be, be organized. I'm a very big picture person because I'm also a director. So I love to see the whole thing. I don't want to have any part that's hidden that I can't figure out. And then it's always all about the story and how it moves people. It's the emotion, it's the conveyance of information, it's the entertainment. It's all there. So as we collaborate together, and here's some more. Oh, it's another picture, I think, of After Effects, some of the screens that you would use. Also build a lot of elements outside of After Effects using various tools like this is Illustrator. And I love the iPad Pro that I use and have used it as a tool for quite a while, and use Procreate for a sketching, compositing, and basically a design tool because I can take it anywhere I go. So when you ask what kind of computers that I work on, it really, my workstation at the station and my workstation here are both PCs, but I love the portability of an iPad Pro. So that's it's far becoming my best go-to tool because it's right there and I can take it wherever. So these elements, build them separately, bring them in together, and start to put them inside. And so let's talk about how I construct an open, a show open that Nate was talking about. And here's a couple of elements that I storyboarded out. Now you guys probably know what storyboard is because you watch a lot of films and Pixar movies where they show all the great storyboard artists. That's kind of a dream. But what they do is they lay it out and sketch out the various pieces. And here are some of the pieces that I built in advance for the show open for Sleep Deprived. You notice the hand-drawn art on the top. Those are things that I sketched on the iPad and brought them in as elements. The clock turns, and so that whole clock was constructed by using After Effects from scratch. So the clock face, the hands, and all the other elements of the clock. And then Sleep Deprived, I created a cloud and I drew that in Photoshop and then added the text. And so the next thing would be to go ahead and animate it. And so here's a little video that shows the show open with all the elements put together. There's no sound. You'll notice the clock turning in the background. There's some of the elements folding in at the bottom to kind of give you ideas what stories will be coming up. And then the title, the logo flies on. It kind of creates that, as I added particle effects, some blur effects, kind of that sleepy, blurry feeling. And so that took probably a couple days to work all those. And then, of course, put it in the show, have one of the editors put it in and see how it feels with music and voiceover. So that's where the collaboration comes in. And I think that's one of my favorite things is taking pieces in and working with the producers, or having producers come to me and say, hey, I can't figure out, we don't have any B-roll for this. Could you make a graphic that explains this? And I love it because I love the challenge. And that's one of my very favorite things to do is like, somebody give me a challenge. I'll do anything. I'll try to get it done and whatever it takes. And then again, there's just so much output. There's so many things that I create each day, each month. Got to be organized or else I will never find those pieces again. And when somebody asks me something that needs to go on the air, it gets really critical. So these are just a couple of the animations that I built over time, different promos, different show opens, different title bumpers, and there's some what we call interstitials. They're just little cartoons in our Inside California Education show. And lots of show branding. And these are some of the main shows that we have on the station right now that I've worked on and designed for. So that's kind of where we're at. We're very lucky, and we have a great team to work with. And I tell you what, I can't even imagine having a better career and a better bunch of people to hang out with.